On the record today, we have someone who really provided the big headlines on the last day of Parliament, on the last day of Rajya Sabha. With me, MP Dinesh Trivedi, who resigned very dramatically on the floor of Rajya Sabha on Friday. And he's here, I'm hoping, to tell us all the behind the scenes of what happened. Dinesh Trivedi, are you agreeing with the BJP charge that there is corruption in the Trinamool Congress now?
Why should I have to go by? I have to go by people, no. Why are BJP saying? They are not saying out of the blue. It's the people of the state are saying. Should I tell you now? Openly, should I tell you?
Yes.
I've never opened my mouth, but let me tell you. I send the complaint to the principal Home Secretary, and it goes down to the police. And the person who goes, who's been middle class, they said, ये तो मतलब सबको देना पड़ता. ये क्या मतलब है भैया? The other day I fired the Home Secretary, he's a friend otherwise. I said, ये सब जगह दीमक लगा दिया आपने. यहाँ साधारण आदमी को आप जीने दोगे कि नहीं? This was exact word.
You're talking about this whole concept of cut money, and you're saying you complained about it
every day.
Dinesh Trivedi, isn't it also, because you mentioned violence earlier, but hasn't Bengal's politics always been very, very violent? And isn't it true that, as my colleagues, people who report from the ground, they point out that what just happened was that a lot of the goons who were associated with the left, they came and started working for Trinamool Congress. So it's not something, it's just something which Bengal is associated with. That you have this party society, which is very, very unique to Bengal. And so that's why corruption and violence, especially political violence, is a very kind of, whether it's a left in power or now Trinamool is in power, is just something that's there in Bengal. You wouldn't agree?
So you're trying to say that this is what we should have accepted?
No, I'm asking you.
What was Parivartan? If business as usual, then we have cheated the people by saying Parivartan. So Parivartan did take place of the political party. But there was no Parivartan as far as, this is exactly, you have hit the nail. There was no Parivartan as far as violence was concerned. There is no Parivartan as far as corruption is. It went 100-fold. At least during the left time, you did not see the political functionaries taking money on the television camera. Narda, I opposed tooth and nail and I became bad guy. When Narda tapes came, I was the first one to tell the leader, keep all of them out. We are not saying that they are guilty.
Yeah.
But they must be kept out. And what happened? I was kept out. This is all documented, it is all reported in the papers.
So Mamata Banerjee was unhappy.
I told, if you're honest, there's no point you're being honest. If your people are seen taking money, you as Mamata Banerjee should have said, nonsense. What have you done? Why have you done? If you have taken money for election, have the guts to say, yes, we took it for election, we did not report to the election commission or the income tax. But how can you say? I remember now the leader of Rajya Sabha, I don't want to name, said, no, we can't do that, elections are happening. So what? Truth cannot wait. What happened? Dinesh Trivedi became bad guy. Mamata instructed that Dinesh Trivedi not go for campaigning for 2016.
Do you think a lot of people who have now left the party also complain about the fact that she's, she favors her nephew? Have you seen instances of that? Do you believe that?
I really don't want to go down that lane. But the time has come in India, we must get out of this family business. See, you must give credit to the left and also the BJP. That at the very top, वो भाई भतीजा and वो नहीं है. I'm not even saying that if somebody is capable should be kept out of politics, no. But let it go, but you don't become a leader overnight. And you don't, it's vulgar. I can only tell you it's vulgar.
Dynastic politics.
What happens? One side you are very simple, but somebody who has just come the other day
Abhishek.
Whether it's Abhishek, whether A, B, C, start living in a simple life. Don't start using chopper just to go to your constituency.
Right.
So, it doesn't gel.
Does he
Abhishek was a bacha when we were struggling. So I don't want to join issues. I understand that he had a lot of foul language. That's not our culture. If somebody even in your household leaves, what you do? You call that person and say, why are you leaving? You are there when I was born. I've seen you. And why are you leaving now? That's the minimum you'll do, no? Here you start abusing. And just because the Prime Minister happens to be Gujarat, that doesn't mean you start abusing Gujaratis every day.
You obviously seem to be quite in admiration of the Prime Minister, of the BJP as well. You said they don't have dynastic politics. Although, a lot of their leaders also, Congress keeps pointing this out, that, they also have a lot of second generation people who are there in positions of power in the BJP as well. So it's not something particular to TMC or Congress or whatever. But since I wanted to ask you, many would say, and especially your older colleagues would say, that you say that, your act is an act against corruption and for peace. But it is the BJP, a lot of the people who are accused of corruption, they've gone to the BJP. What would you say to that?
I think you should ask them, no? Who am I to reply? As long as...
But aren't you joining BJP?
As long as, you see, I'm here, I'm not here sitting on judgment of anybody. Since I was involved with Trinamool Congress, I can talk about Trinamool Congress. The very fact is, we have built this party. And when you talk about the dynastic politics is, let's say if Chief Minister's son becomes an MLA, but he or a daughter, he or she draws all the power from the Chief Minister's office, sitting there, and everybody goes to him or her. That's wrong. There's nothing wrong that somebody's daughter or son comes. They can always come, but they must prove themselves. They must come, but everybody start touching their feet.
Is that what's happening?
Isn't it vulgar?
No, but isn't
tell
that...
me.
Yes.
Isn't it vulgar?
Yes, but is that what's happening with Abhishek Banerjee?
I don't want to name. Abhishek Banerjee otherwise is a very intelligent boy. But I think you must... India is all about being humble. India is all about Gandhi. Mamata Banerjee is praised because of her simplicity, because of her Hawai chatti, because of her, the way of life. But you can't have a split personality. You cannot have. If your leaders are found in some kind of a corruption, no mercy. Don't declare them corrupt, but the due process of law has to be there.
But did the BJP have they been in touch now? Because I know that you've said that it would be a privilege to work with the BJP.
I was asked, would you join BJP? I'll say it will be a privilege because BJP is #1 party in the world. So Sitaram Yechury is also a good friend of mine. So is Uddhav Thackeray. Other day, somebody said, you met Sharad Pawar. I said, yes, I met Sharad Pawar ji. My biggest joy is everybody's friend. And by and large, I'm in politics for a very long time. I have fought 4 Lok Sabha elections. This was my 3rd term in Rajya Sabha. So I have seen it all.
Did the PM speak to you post that?
I don't have to wait for the Honorable Prime. We speak, I can criticize the policy, I can appreciate it, at least he listens. Here there was nobody to listen. Actually, I'm telling you, and I'm not now, I have been telling publicly much earlier.